Welcome to My Irish Radio Music and Culture News, your connection to everything happening in the world of Irish music and culture. I'm Jamie Flanagan. Each episode will share the latest news from Ireland's vibrant music scene, from traditional and folk to rebel ballads, pub tunes, Celtic rock, and today's top Irish pop. We'll also bring you updates on festivals, cultural events, and people keeping Irish heritage alive around the world. And remember, My Irish Radio is more than just a station. It's your community, your soundtrack, your voice. You can listen 24/7 at myirishradio.com and through the links in the podcast description below. Here's the best part. You can be part of it. Host your very own show on My Irish Radio. Choose your playlist, share your stories, make My Irish Radio your Irish Radio. Let's get into what's happening this week in Irish music and culture.
So today we have a stack of sources that honestly gave me a bit of whiplash when I first sat down to read them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the contrasts are wild.
Right. We are focusing entirely on Ireland today, but we are absolutely not talking about the postcard version of Ireland.
Definitely not.
It feels like the whole country is vibrating on this very weird, very specific frequency this week. On one hand, you have these massive global rock stars making heavily political statements. And on the other, you've got teenagers on TikTok
Reading the Bible,
which is just not what I expected. And then there were people going out into fields to lift giant stones.
like heavy stones, yeah. Definitely have to get to the stones.
We will. But essentially, our mission today is to unpack what the sources are collectively calling Ireland Unbound. It's a dispatch of music, culture, and some really surprising societal shifts.
And it's a fascinating week for you to dive into because if you look closely at all these separate stories, from the stadium concerts to the inheritance tax scandals we'll get into, you see a very distinct pattern.
A pattern of what, exactly?
It's a country that is aggressively looking backward to figure out how to move forward. It's a heavy week, quite literally and figuratively.
So let's start with the heaviest hitter in the stack, the return of the Titans, U2.
This is huge. And I think because U2 has just been around forever, it's really easy to take them for granted. But you have to realize they haven't released a collection of new songs since 2017.
Wait, really? It's been that long?
9 years.
Wow.
Yeah, in the music industry, 9 years is an absolute eternity. A gap like that usually means a band is just softly retired or done entirely. So for them to drop a brand new EP, Days of Ash, is a massive deal.
Days of Ash, I mean, that doesn't exactly sound like a party album.
No, it's not. The reviews and the cultural commentators in our sources are calling it reinvigorated and urgent. This isn't a greatest hits victory lap for them. They are trying to say something about the state of the world right now.
I noticed in the release notes that the lead single dropped yesterday, the 24th. Was that just normal midweek chart positioning?
Not at all. It's much more specific. February 24th is the 4th anniversary of the invasion of Ukraine.
Oh, wow. Okay, that makes sense.
Exactly. They did not pick that date by accident. The lead single explicitly honors Renee Good and draws directly from the turbulence of the last few years. It's U2 basically doing what they did back in the war era.
Trying to be the conscience of the walk world again?
Right.
That feels like a really risky move, doesn't it? I mean, in 2026, does the world still look to Bono and the guys for moral guidance?
That is the big question the sources are asking. It's a total high-wire act. You're returning after almost a decade. And instead of a catchy pop song for the radio, you drop a dense political commentary on the anniversary of a war.
It definitely shows they aren't interested in just being legacy celebrities. They want to be relevant to the now.
Yeah, it's a bold swing.
But what I love about this stack is the immediate contrast the sources give us. You have U2, these global elder statesmen, effectively shouting from the mountaintop, and then you have Allie Sherlock.
The absolute complete opposite end of the spectrum.
I've seen her videos on social media. She's the girl who plays guitar on Grafton Street in Dublin, right?
Yeah.
Just her and a microphone.
That's how she started. But looking at the news today, she's not just on Grafton Street anymore. She just announced the, I'll say it out loud, world tour.
A world tour from busking.
It's a massive leap. Tickets actually go on sale today. She's doing dates in Limerick, Galway, Dublin, Belfast this September. But it's the scale of it that the sources are highlighting. U2 is coming from this top-down, we are the biggest band in the world perspective. Allie Sherlock is built entirely from the ground up, street corner by street corner.
It feels more attainable, or maybe just more intimate for the listener.
Intimacy is actually a huge theme in the music reporting this week. It's not just Allie. Did you see the news about Dermot Kennedy?
I saw the name, but I missed the specific announcement. Is he doing a stadium run?
Quite the opposite. He's doing a special acoustic gig and Q&A at Lancaster Town Hall on March 28th.
A town hall?
Yeah, to support his new album, The Weight of the Woods.
Okay, I have to stop you. The Weight of the Woods? That is a fantastic title.
It's very evocative. But look at the format. Acoustic. Q&A. It's about stripping away all the massive production, the lights, the noise, and just having a direct conversation with the audience. It completely mirrors what Glen Hansard is doing too.
The guy from the Friends?
The very same. He's releasing a retrospective live album called Don't Settle Transmissions East and West. Again, notice it's a live album. It's about capturing a real moment in time, flaws and all.
So if I'm synthesizing this right, while U2 is trying to address the entire geopolitical state of the world, this other generation of Irish artists is trying to get in a room with you and just talk.
Precisely. The sources point to a deep desire for connection. In a world that feels very digital, very polished and algorithm-driven, these artists are leaning hard into the raw, the acoustic, the real.
Speaking of real and getting in a muddy field with people, let's talk about summer plans. Because the festival lineups dropped this week, and looking at the list for Altogether, now I'm genuinely a little confused.
Confused how?
Well, the lineup seems totally all over the place.
It's definitely eclectic. They added 60 new acts this week for the August festival. But if you look at the headliners, it's actually a perfect snapshot of that looking back to move forward theme we were just talking about.
Who are the big names?
You've got Pulp and Underworld.
Okay, so Britpop royalty and 90s electronic legends. That's pure nostalgia.
Right. It's safe, comfortable, legendary, but then sharing that exact same bill, you have Kneecap.
I've heard of them. They're the Irish language hip-hop group, the ones who wear balaclavas.
That's them. They are chaotic, hyper-political, very modern, and they rap in Irish. So imagine the field at that festival. You have the crowd who wants to stand there and sing along to Common People by Pulp, right next to the crowd that wants to aggressively mosh to Kneecap's political anarchism.
That is a massive vibe shift.
It's a generational collision. And the critics say it's incredibly healthy. It shows that the festival isn't just becoming a museum piece, it's actively engaging with the new, aggressive energy coming out of the north.
And then you have Forbidden Fruit in Dublin, which seems a little less chaotic.
Definitely more slick. Tickets for that are on sale this week, too. Headliners are Catronata, Nia Archives, Kedema, Joy Crooks. It's very dance-focused, very current.
It sounds like a great summer if you have the energy for it, but here is where the stat got really interesting for me. We're seeing this massive crossover between the music world and the screen, specifically Peaky Blinders.
The Immortal Man, the new film version.
I am a huge fan of the show. It has that very specific look, smoke, heavy industry, tailored suits, violence. It's very stylized.
And very sonic. The music was always a huge part of the series' identity.
So who are they tapping for the movie?
Grian Chatten.
The Fontaine's DC frontman.
The very same. The sources say he's providing moody vocals in production, and they're also heavily featuring tracks by Lankum.
Lankum? I don't think I know them.
Oh, they are incredible. Imagine traditional Irish folk music, but dramatically slowed down, drone-heavy, almost terrifying. It's folk music that sounds like a horror movie in the best possible way.
That sounds intense.
It is. But think about the fit. You take that gritty, industrial Peaky Blinders aesthetic, and you pair it with this dark, modern Irish folk sound. It's a perfect match. It just reinforces how influential that gritty Irish sound has become globally. It's not just for small pubs in West Cork anymore. It's soundtracking major Hollywood blockbusters.
It's like the cool factor of Ireland is at an absolute all-time high.
Absolutely. And it's not just the big global names. The music press this week was flooded with new releases from smaller, independent artists.
Yeah, I saw the rapid fire list here. Let's run through a few because the variety is just wild. Soda Blonde released Suit and Tie,
which is apparently directly inspired by this very cultural resurgence we're discussing.
Yeah.
So it's very meta.
Then there's Belters, Only With My Love.
High energy dance. Keeping the clubs going.
And then we have Death Torquay with a track called Hido.
Representing the Kildare rap scene.
Wait, Kildare has a rap scene?
Everywhere has a scene now. That's the beauty of this moment. You have Lezember releasing a massive indie rock anthem in Donegal, rap in Kildare, shoegaze in Belfast.
Speaking of Belfast shoegaze, I did see a sad note in the local papers about the band Virgin.
Yeah, a bittersweet moment for sure. They're playing their final hometown show in Belfast on February 28th. It's the end of the road for them.
Always tough to see a good band break up. But on the flip side of that, we have some major awards news. Horslips won the Arte Choice Music Prize Classic Album Award.
For the Tane.
When did that actually come out?
1973.
1973. That is over 50 years ago.
And it's still getting prestigious awards today. Is widely considered the grandfather of Celtic rock. So again, you have this ecosystem where a 1973 album is being honored in the exact same week that Kildare Rap is dropping on Spotify. The deep heritage and the new wave are coexisting perfectly.
It's not just music, though. The screen and stage seem to be having a massive moment, too. Jessie Buckley just keeps winning things.
She's a total powerhouse. Best actress at the IFT Awards for 2026. She's one of those actors who just completely disappears into every single role.
And for the book lovers tuning in, there was a major trailer drop for the Walsh Sisters.
Based on the Marion Keyes books. This is going to be massive. Marion Keyes is basically royalty in Irish literature. Adapting that series is a guaranteed national conversation starter.
And if you want something a bit more highbrow, the Irish National Opera is running Dvořák's Rusalka.
At the Board Guys Energy Theatre, running late March, Jennifer Davis is starring.
Plus, the trad anniversaries. Te Ada celebrating 25 years at the National Concert Hall, and Alton at the Franklin Theatre. It feels like there's just so much happening across every medium. But one story in the culture section really stuck out to me because it wasn't about a performance at all. It was about a building.
St. Mary's Pro Cathedral.
Yeah. The headline said it's fully closing down for 2 years.
Starting this year, yes.
Yeah.
It's undergoing a 25 million euro refurbishment. And this is right on the heels of its 200th anniversary.
25 million euros is a lot of money to spend on a physical building in 2026.
It is. But I think it's a highly significant signal. We spend so much time talking about digital culture, streaming algorithms, online trends. But a society investing that much cash to meticulously restore a 200-year-old physical space says, this matters. It says that we aren't just living in the cloud. We actually need these physical touchstones of history. We need real places to go.
That actually segues perfectly into what was the weirdest part of the deep dive for me. Because we are talking about physical touchstones and people desperately looking for something real. Can we please talk about the Bible sales?
I had a feeling you were going to bring this up.
The retail data from this week shows Bible sales in Ireland are at their highest level since 2013. Now, my immediate first thought was, okay, maybe an older demographic is returning to the church.
And the data says you'd be entirely wrong.
So who is buying them?
Gen Z.
Gen Z, the TikTok generation.
Specifically because of TikTok. The market research points directly to religious influencers on the platform who are driving this huge surge in interest.
Okay, I have to be a little skeptical here. Are they actually reading the texts, or is it just an aesthetic choice? Like, is carrying a vintage-looking Bible just the new tote bag?
That's the cynical take, sure. And for some of them, it might just be an accessory. But the sociologists in our sources suggest it's much deeper than that. We are living in a chaotic, highly fragmented digital age. Truth feels very slippery. So there is this profound hunger among young people for structure, for ancient wisdom, for something that feels permanent.
So they are scrolling through 15-second hyper-edited videos and collectively deciding they need a 2,000-year-old book to make sense of it all.
Exactly. It's a massive counter-reaction to the sheer speed of modern life. And it connects directly to the other weird trend you mentioned in the intro, stone lifting.
Okay, yes. Explain this to me, because when I first read stone lifting in the notes, I pictured construction work.
No, this is a sport, a very, very old traditional sport. There are these specific lifting stones scattered all around the rural Irish countryside. Big, incredibly heavy granite stones that have been sitting there for centuries.
And people are just going out and finding them.
They are mapping them, traveling to them, and trying to lift them. It's a grassroots revival of a completely forgotten sport.
But why? Why now?
Think about the underlying connection to the Bibles. It's the exact same human impulse.
You think so? I mean, one is reading a religious text, the other is risking a severe hernia in a wet field.
True, but both of them are fundamentally about tactility. Both are about actively rejecting the digital world for something undeniably real. You cannot fake lifting a 100-kilogram stone for an app. It's heavy. It's physically real. It was lifted by someone's ancestor 300 years ago, and now you are putting your hands on the exact same stone.
It's a way to ground yourself.
Literally grounding. The mindset is, my ancestors lifted this stone, can I? It's a primal way of connecting with physical history that you just can't ever get from staring at a screen.
That is actually a really beautiful way to frame it. It's all about permanence. But speaking of heritage and who actually gets to access it, we have to talk about the major controversy in the stack today.
The tax scheme.
Yeah. This investigative report came out about a secret heritage scheme. Can you break the mechanics of this down for me? Because the headlines made it sound quite shady.
Secret is the exact word the investigative journalists used. Essentially, here is the deal. Wealthy individuals can avoid paying inheritance tax, which could be quite substantial if they agree to make their private cultural assets available to the general public.
Okay, so let's say I'm a millionaire. I have a private collection of rare historical paintings, or maybe I own a massive historic estate. Instead of paying my tax bill, I just say, hey, public, you can come look at my paintings a few days a year.
That's the simplified version, yes.
And then I pay zero inheritance tax.
Correct. The tax is completely waived.
That really doesn't seem fair to the average taxpayer.
Well, that's exactly the debate raging in the sources. We have to look at both sides. On one hand, the pragmatic argument is that without this specific financial incentive, these national treasures might be quietly sold off to private collectors abroad to pay the tax bills, and the Irish public would never ever see them. This way, the culture stays physically in the country, and the public gets at least some access.
But on the other hand, it looks like the ultra-wealthy are just trading culture for massive tax breaks.
Exactly. The critics argue it deeply commodifies heritage. It turns a Van Gogh painting or a rare historic manuscripts into a literal bargaining chip with the revenue commissioners. It asks a really uncomfortable question. Who actually owns our culture? Is it the public? Or is it the people who can afford to buy it and use it to dodge the taxman?
That is a very sticky ethical web. It's basically saying, we will let you see your own history, but only if you let us keep our money.
It's a financial transaction, and it sits very uncomfortably alongside the other stories we've discussed today, like the local community lifting stones or the street busker going on tour. Those movements feel organic and grassroots. This tax scheme feels entirely transactional.
You're listening to My Irish Music and Culture News, brought to you by My Irish Radio, streaming the best in Irish and Celtic music all day, every day. From classic jigs and reels to the latest Irish rock and pub favorites, we celebrate the sound of Ireland worldwide. Want to be more than a listener? Be a host. Share your love for the Irish music by hosting your own show on My Irish Radio. It's easy to get started. Just send us an email, myirishradio@gmail.com. Don't forget, you can listen 24/7 at myirishradio.com. Make My Irish Radio your Irish radio.
Let's pivot to something slightly more straightforward, although it is emotionally heavy in a totally different way. Sports. Because we are losing an absolute giant.
The end of an era. Katie Taylor.
I feel like we all knew this was coming eventually, but seeing the actual headline, Katie Taylor announces retirement, it still hits hard.
She has completely defined Irish sport for an entire generation. And not just women's sport. Sport, period. She officially announced she will fight one last time in Ireland this coming summer.
Getting a ticket to that is going to be harder than getting the new U2 vinyl.
Oh, absolutely impossible. The atmosphere in that arena will be indescribable. It's going to be a massive national moment of gratitude, far more than just a boxing match.
And speaking of huge national sporting moments, the rugby numbers finally came in.
Over 1 million fans watched the Six Nations victory over England.
Well, beating England always helps the television ratings.
It certainly doesn't hurt. But honestly, getting 1 million concurrent viewers in today's highly fragmented media landscape is incredibly rare. It proves that live sport is really one of the last true campfires we have left in society. It's one of the very few things that everyone still watches at the exact same time.
Unlike the GAA, which seems to be constantly arguing about when people should be watching.
Politics literally never stops in the GAA. The 2027 presidential race has officially started, and the big structural debates are already heating up, specifically about the future of Casement Park and the overall calendar.
They want to extend the playing season into August, right?
Yes, and that is highly controversial.
Yeah.
The traditionalists absolutely hate messing with the established rhythm of the championship. But it shows that even these massive, deeply rooted amateur organizations are dealing with very complex logistical and political realities. They are trying desperately to modernize, just like the rest of the country.
So if we step back for a second and look at this whole board, U2, TikTok Bibles, the heritage tax scheme, ancient stone lifting, what is the overarching headline for Ireland in February 2026?
I think the headline is simply Flux.
Flux.
Yeah. You have a country that is urgently trying to figure out how to be hypermodern without losing its soul. You have U2 looking back to the war era to find a voice for today.
Yeah.
You have Gen Z looking back to the Bible and ancient fieldstones to find some kind of stability.
But at the exact same time, you have Kildare rap scenes and slick electronic dance festivals.
Oh, exactly. It's a remix. Ireland is essentially remixing its own culture in real time. It's saying, we can have viral digital trends on TikTok, and we can spend millions restoring a 200-year-old cathedral. We can have underground electronic music, and we can have traditional stone lifting.
It doesn't have to be a zero-sum game.
No, it
Yeah.
doesn't. But the tension is definitely there.
Yeah.
And honestly, that tension is what makes it so exciting to watch.
I completely agree. Now, I want to leave you, the listener, with a final thought about that heritage tax scheme we broke down earlier.
Go for it.
We talked about it being a pragmatic trade-off. The wealthy get a tax break, the public gets to see the art. But let's take that a step further. What happens when the people deciding which parts of our history are preserved and displayed aren't historians or public curators, but tax accountants? If access to your own heritage is dictated purely by the financial liabilities of the ultra-rich, are we letting private bank accounts curate our national memory?
That changes the entire dynamic of who writes history.
Exactly. It's not just about the money lost to the public purse. It's about who actually holds the keys to the culture. I'll let you chew on that.
Keep a close eye on your own local news feeds this week. See if you can spot these exact same patterns of the ancient and the modern colliding right where you live.
That's it for this episode of My Irish Radio, Music and Culture News. Thanks for joining us. And remember, you can hear the best in Irish and Celtic music 24 hours a day at myirishradio.com. If you ever dreamed of sharing your favorite tunes and stories, now's your chance. Become one of the hosts. Host your own show right here on My Irish Radio. Just send us an email. It's easy as that. myirishradio@gmail.com. Until next time, it's Jamie Flanagan. Keep the music playing and keep Ireland in your heart.